Shalom, Kol Halo, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Pradash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that look like those heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning. All right, so you have to remember that Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, created these color social constructs fraudulently. All right, they are very well aware that the seed line of a man determines your nationality. The seed of your father, not the color of your skin. Point blank, period. Because if your mother and father are different, all right, in appearance, it does not matter what you come out looking like. What matters is the seed line that your father came from. All right, a woman has nothing to do with the determination of race in the Bible. So even tracing your genetics through your mother is useless as far as identifying your race. All right, as far as your race is concerned. Maybe it could be used for other things and be relevant. But as far as identifying your race, it's through your father. So that's the first important lesson. And this is mostly for the newer people, the people who have come into the knowledge of who they are, understanding the truth about the Bible. So the people who've been around for a while, they know this, but we have to still teach this. All right. And then sometimes those of you, just to keep your sword sharp, meaning your mind, the Bible is your weapon, your sword. You have to return into lessons like this. Okay? So I'm going to get a couple scriptures identifying, that the seed is through, the Father. I think I'm looking for so Salaki, I'm trying to find my favorite one first. It's the most I get that one first since I'm right here. This is the most basic one that you can use and remember. All right, which is Numbers 1 and 18. So we'll go there first. All right. And it reads, and I've even heard people try to use the excuse that, well, it's only because of this and only because of that. It's telling you how it's done. It's telling you how you identify people. That's the most important thing. Forget any other reason or why they were doing this. But that's what the message is. Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, and by their polls. So to determine who was actually their people, all right, that was among them, because there was a multitude of people to determine who were they people and who was what part of what tribe is determined by your fathers. All right. Because through conquests and battles and stuff, concubines and women are taken from other nations, and some of your children look different, or they come out looking like their mother or their mother's people. So you have to be able to identify who's who according to the seed of their father. All right. So that's the first part, most important part of this lesson, because the Israelites got scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people. And during the most recent slavery, a lot of Israelites were forced to mate with their Edomite captives. All right, even some, when you go back to because I'm gonna play a video that's talking about the Muslim captivity, and so with Elam and Ishmael as well. So there's a lot of Israelites that are among Elam and Ishmael. Those are the Arab nations. Okay. So there's still a lot of Israelites among them as well. All right. And then, of course, you know, the Ashkenazi controlled the slave trade, the ships, the shipping, right? As they took on as they claimed to be the Sephardim, who the Sephardim for the most part, what you're looking at on the screen, were the Moors Morenos, you know, the Moriscos, those Israelites that came out of Portugal and Spain when it fell in 1492, thus starting the Renaissance. And then, of course, with the Renaissance came what? The whitewashing of history. All right, that's what came with the Renaissance, the whitewashing of history. And history is told from that point forward, and they don't really go back too much, except for when they talk about Greece and Rome. And when they talk about Greece and Rome and all the heathen countries that were connected to them in movie and theater, they always portray them as being only white, as if all the people of color weren't there, and they were. Same way if you come to Chicago or New York today, all right? It was a mixed multitude of people in Rome. It was a mixed multitude of people in Greece and in all those societies that surrounded it. And in a portion of Asia that they now call Europe, all right, which they created a whole false racial construct around that. Those people were melanated people, all right? So when you read about, you know, when you watch movies like series like Spartacus and things like that, when it starts talking about the people that were being slaves, people of Capua and the Gauls and the all those people were people of color. Okay, the seed of Japhet were people of color. All right, point blank. Period. They were not the Etruscans and were people of color. So so just remember that whole European thing, and I have receipts for that. Is made up. All right, that's just something that they made up to try and control the racial narrative and use these color lines for division, knowing that because there were lots of Edomites in the ancient world that during the time of Rome, the Herodians and stuff that were intermingling with Israelite women. A lot of them were were lighter complected, looking like lighter complected black people, today, or looking like so-called black people. Some came out with woolly hair, some came out with wavy hair. All right, creating that look that's so prevalent in the world today. So these things must be said just to give an understanding. All right. So I'm going to read a portion of, oh wait, I didn't get my other precept. Let me find it real quick. Said I was going to give you two. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. I'll be out in a sec. This is 2 Kings. Little people are here. I was trying to do this before they got up. Salakia, give me a moment. Yeah, here we go. This is 1 Kings 8 and 19, and it reads, "Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son shall come forth out of thy loins. He shall build the house unto my name." See, so your son or your daughter comes forth out of your loins. The man's seed determines, your nationality. So you don't come from your mom. You get put into your mom. You come forth out of your father's scrotum. You hear that, people? And all you proud women, all you ignorant people that don't understand the process, it takes two. But you come forth out of your father's loin and you get placed into your mother's womb. All right? So you didn't come from your mama. You came from your father. I'll read it again. 1 Kings 8 and 19. "Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build the house unto my name." End of it. Nothing else to be said. So now we're going to read a portion of this book. Now, understanding the history that I just mentioned about the fall of Portugal and Spain. The Morenos, you can go look that up on etymology online. I've done it 1,000 times. You know, do a little work. All right, go look up etymology online dictionary and go look up Morenos. Marranos. Morenos. All right. The so-called Hispanics still refer to black people as that this day. You can even hear them say it sometimes under their breath when they come around. Morenos. All right. So this is the prologue of the Sephardims in America when you open the cover. And I'm starting at the first paragraph. Right? It says, in the year 1992, the observance of Columbus quintessentially marked as a special moment in history in the American Jewish experience. For a brief time, the historical spotlight was able to shine on a group of American JOOs whose ancestry, because remember that J word is a hijack for Israelite, because all the confusion, the creation of the letter J, and you know where they can hide. Because remember, it's the 12 tribes of Israel, not the 12 tribes of J-ish. Okay, remember that. So it says, so American J-ish ancestry was left Spain, and that's a lie. They were not the Sephardim. Okay, that's a complete and total lie right there. The Sephardim is not that. And then he's going to tell them themselves as we keep reading. All right. And undertook about the same time that Columbus undertook his journey of discovery. Because see, look, the J-ish that left Portugal and Spain were forced to because of the fall of the Moors. So what they're doing when they say that, because you know they didn't mention the Moors at all. The Moors were the ruling class people. So you're saying that the J-ish was in a society being ruled over by the Moors? Is that what you're saying? Is that because that's what he's saying? That's what Martin A. Cohen and Abram J. Peck are saying. And this book was authorized by the JPS. All right, you know, the J-ish publishing, services, or whatever the S stands for. That's what they're admitting to. They're admitting to that the J-ish was under the control and rulership of the Moors. All right. So they're lying. The Sephardim was not them. They were the Ashkenazi. All right. And they hijack, just like they take the J word and hijack. That's what they did here. All right. And it says, while the mainstream America celebrated the 500th anniversary of Columbus' discovery of the New World, the same group of American J-ish, all right, the Sephardim, shed tears for the nearly 2,000 Spanish J-ish who were expelled in 1492. You see what I'm saying? Because he's making it sound like it was a J-ish society. It was the Moors that were in control, and the Moors were Negroes, so-called Negroes, Israelites that had that had converted to Islam, point blank, period. All right, and the Sephardim were their own people that were among them that kept the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, or you know, that still held on to the Bible. Okay, and they were called Moriscos, or secret Jews, or Christians. That's what they were called. Okay, and it says so that he's leaving out history. This is them trying to control the narrative. All right. It says the Sephardim in the Americas is the first collective effort to interpret the long journey from Spain to the Western Hemisphere by the grandchildren of the Spanish expulsion. The Spanish expulsion was the expulsion of so-called black people. Fact, undeniable fact, irrefutable fact. All right. The Sephardim, who identified themselves according to their prayer ritual, whose name comes from the biblical destination of Spain, were first a significant group of J-ish or Israelites, immigrants, to settle in the Americas. And they were lots of sellouts because the Moors and the Sephardim also owned slaves of their own people. They set up businesses along with the Ashkenazi, which proven to you when you join yourself unto Esau, Edom, he will always turn on you and put you into slavery or put you down. That's what happened to that guy Northup in 12 Years a Slave. He was the well-to-do Negro that was of this Sephardic heritage that was already here in the America, along with the Moors, who made deals with these newfound Edomites and these Ashkenazi, and then he ended up going to serve slavery with his own people, right, for 12 years until someone went and got him. That's exactly what happened. It said the Sephardim, who identified themselves according to their prayer rituals, whose name comes from the biblical destination of Spain, were the first significant group of Israelite immigrants settled in the Americas. They dominated the religious, social, economic life of American Jewry during the colonial and early federal periods. Yet by the middle of the 19th century, they have become a part of the American J-ish myth. See, because the J-ish, the Ishes, the Ashkenazi begin to come in. All right. It says they were viewed as grandees of American J-ish society and aristocratic, accumulated group that had all but vanished as a factor in the later history of American J-ish life. In the years between 1881 and 1924, the great period of Eastern European J-ish immigration to the United States. These were the converts, the Ashkenazi converts, Edomites, all right? That's the left the shores of Europe and Asia, which is one continent. We're gonna prove that lie. Now he said it. I gotta show the receipt now. It was all Asia. That's why you don't see the word Europe in the Bible. He talks about being in Spain, but Spain sits in Asia. All right. It says they spoke Judeo, Spanish, Greek, Arabic, and claimed the Sephardic heritage. Their religious practices, songs, and poetry. Although the Israelites from Turkey, Greece, Syria, and Balkans to the east of Europe, European J-ish, all right, they may have all been from another planet. They spoke Yiddish and carried. See, so Yiddish, what is that? Yiddish is the a whole different language, a Slavic German language written with Hebrew characters. All right. So these people, you know, they did the hijack. And I always tell you, dodge the hijack. The word J and J-ish replaced Israelites. All right. And so I'm going to play a video, which pretty much the guy breaks down Joel, the third chapter. All right. How Ashkenazi Edomites, along with other Edomites, along with Ishmael and Ham, all right, took the royal line of Judah out of West Africa. They were refugees in West Africa, not from West Africa, and brought them to the Americas as slaves. All right, so let me go to Joel, the third chapter real quick. All right, let's go to Joel. Third chapter. And this whole chapter is a fire read, all right? Because it really breaks it down. Okay. And it also breaks down too that there's a part 2 to manifest destiny, and we're entering into that period. But this is Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in the days and in the time where I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," so that's the northern and southern kingdom, the house of Judah and the northern kingdom, "and I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." They scattered us around the world, and they parted the land of Israel. It's been parted between the Edomites, all right, the Ashkenazi J-ish, they hijacked our heritage, and the Ishmaelites, Palestinians. But remember, among both are still some Israelites, all right? Even among the Ashkenazi, there are actually some Israelites among them, all right? This isn't a color thing like they try to make it, okay? "And they have cast lots for my people. They sold us as slaves." This is Deuteronomy 28:68 to the T. "Put us on slave ships and carted us around the world." That never happened to the Ashkenazi. They were the ones who owned the ships, all right? So that whole H word thing that they use as an excuse, that was really us. All right. And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. You know, you watch the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom. You can still watch it on YouTube. You see that portion. Just like in the movie Roots, the first movie, the original movie that came out in the late 70s. All right. And around the 40th minute, they show you this scripture. They show you Ishmael, Ham, and Esau capturing the Kunta Kinte, capturing a royal Israelite, the bloodline of the kings of Judah. All right, that were refugees living on the west coast of Africa, not from Africa. They were from Asia. You heard that term, Black Asiatic man? Well, there's a lot of truth to that because all the people in Asia were dark complected. All right, no matter which tribe or race they were all dark until Esau took it over via Alexander of Macedon, Alexander the Edomite. All right, but it says, yeah, what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? Those are African nations and all the coasts of Palestine, right? And then when the Arabs came together along with Esau against our people, all right? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head? All right? It may seem like a long time to us, but it's a short time in the time of heaven. The Lord is getting ready to return this recompense unto them. Manifest Destiny Part 2. And they are not the beneficiaries of it this time, especially Edom. All right? It says, because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, Jeremiah 50 and 33. We went captivity together, all right? Have you sold unto the Grecians that you might remove them far from their border, all right? Behold, I will raise them out of the place whether you have sold them and will return your recompense upon your own head. The Lord has raised us up out of those places and given us back our heritage to their regret. All right, which is why they build all these false narratives around us, put that word black before a Hebrew Israelite when it's just the Hebrew Israelites, and they try to use their false narratives and racial social categories by color to identify people. And it's not working anymore. They've been found out. All right. So without any further ado, I'll play this video that I've seen many a times. Sahar sent it to me as of lately. And how it just disappeared, I have no idea. Let's go back. And I know I saved it. Come on, man. I know I hit save on that. So I guess I got to go and find it. It was basically that video with that guy talking about the regal house of Judah. That was nothing but Satan because it was already queued up. It was already queued up. So I got to find my man Sahar. Because they removed that video often and people just re-upload it. Because I know I've had it saved in here plenty of times into my phone. And it's really pissing me off. Boy, that was none but Satan trying to hinder. All right. So let's try it this way. Here we go. Call lawyer. How about you, man? Let's take it back.
And I want to give you a brief history. I won't go into it too much, but I can't just make that statement because there'll be people that will push back. But I want to give you a brief history on slavery. I was just amazed, I got to tell you. I mean, when you come to America and you talk to people about slavery, you can talk to black people about slavery, white people about slavery, and they'll give you all this history on slavery, and it only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. And you're like, don't they teach you the history of slavery? Why? Ask the bloody question. Why are they only teaching you the history of slavery as far back as the 16th and the 17th century? Why are they only going that far back? Because they don't want you to go farther back than that. Because then you'll actually find out the truth. But from the 16th and 17th century, we'll teach you about slavery. You've got to go further back. And you've got to understand and question, why do they do this throughout the whole of America, in all the public schools? Why do they only go back as far as the 16th and the 17th century to talk about slavery? We've got to go further back than that. Because Islam designed infernal slavery. And then the Ashkenazi Khazars, those who say they are Jews and are not, are the ones that marketed it. And the regal Negro nomads, exiled from the kingdom of Judah, were the main recipients of it at the hands of the indigenous black Africans.
Okay, I'm going to set this down now.
Because you've got to understand, the regal class of the house of Judah came down from Israel, and they came into the land of the black Africans. And the black Africans resented the regal class of the house of Judah in their land, because they had laws, they had customs, they had civility. And they were a regal class of Negro.
You had a history of war between them as well.
And later on, it was the Ashkenazi, the Islamic slave traders as well, that then worked together with the indigenous black Africans to enslave the regal house of Judah.
Now that is a very important historical fact that is left out in American history when they teach about slavery. That these black Africans were a different race of black people, all right? They weren't the same. So black people didn't enslave black people, and none of them are black. They're all really brown. The jacket he was wearing, that leather jacket, which is really nice, I might add, that's black. No one's skin is that color.
Well, that then worked together with the indigenous black Africans to enslave the regal house of Judah. This is what we've got to understand, but you've got to go back before the 16th century to understand the roots of it. So we're going to see, as we dig into this, where this slavery came from, because it was really a system that was very, very well crafted. There was Islamic masters, and there were white Ashkenazi Khazar ship owners. There were the buyers and the sellers. And they're not going to fill you in on all of this, but really you've got a 4-tier system. Number one, you have the Negro nomads that were exiled from the kingdom of Judah. Number two, you had indigenous black African hunters that resented the regal Negro nomads that had come into their territory with their own customs, with their own laws that were different and would not assimilate into their tribal culture. They were their own tribe. They were the regal house of Judah. And number three, you had Islamic trappers that worked with the indigenous black Africans to trap the regal Negro house of Judah.
And they leave all this out in American history.
Had them sell them to the Ashkenazi ship merchants, along with many Portuguese and British Ashkenazi. You see, it's just like Al-Qaeda today. Or is it ISIS? Or is it ISIL? Or is it IS? I mean, right? Let's just change the name as much as possible to throw you all off so you really don't know what's going on. Let's keep...
That's pretty much what they did, all right? So when you get to this very important prophecy, which vocab and other people try to make light of, when you get to the prophecy of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, all right, which all the prophecies from Deuteronomy 28:15 on down, all right, the bywords, the changing of our names, and when you get to the fact that it tells you that we will be sold into slavery and scattered around the world, and when you get to 64, it says, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other. All right. Okay. And there thou shalt serve gods, whether you shall serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have ever known, even of wood and stone. That would be the J Christ thing, and the fraudulent image of it, because he was a Judite just like them, came from the same place that they looked like, and now all of a sudden you serving this God of wood and stone that looks like the people that owns the ships that's taking you into slavery. Okay, because remember the first slave ship was called, the Good Jesus. All right, that was the first one that sailed. Keep that in mind. Fact. And it was owned by the J-ish, by the Ashkenazi, not the Sephardim. Remember, the Sephardim were actual Israelites, Moors and Morenos, Moriscos. All right. Jump down to verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again, slavery again. Egypt means house of bondage, with ships. The Ashkenazi J-ish didn't get brought into slavery with ships. They took the Israelites into slavery with ships as they hijacked their culture and turned it from and took the Israelite and changed it to J-ish. All right, and made sure that was what was printed in all the publications. Damn near every place where it should say the Israelites or the house of Judah, it says J-ish, and now people are all confused. They created that confusion. All right, and it says, and the Lord and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. The it is Israel. You would never see it again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies. For bondmen and bondwomen, you shall be sold as slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy thee, meaning no man shall redeem thee. No one is going to save you from this. You are going to go through this. It is prophecy, which is how we got discontinued from our heritage until the time of the awakening, until the time of the Gentiles were fulfilled, and we were to get our heritage back. All right. And that part has happened, and this is why they're so upset. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKadosh, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.